Coming up on the show, I look at the website. I nod my head. My face gets kinda scrunchy. Today we're going to be doing a discography deep dive into an artist known as Canna CDK. Not to be confused with Canna DVDK, his knockoff evil twin brother. No, we're focusing on Canna CDK today. Who is the owner and operator of the Earworm Entertainment conglomerate, a group of artists who all release their own tracks under the same brand name, Earworm Entertainment. And the owner is called Canna CDK, and I'm going to link all of his socials down below as well. So, let's dive into his albums. First album is called Misunderstood Mind, which was released in 2015, and it's underground rap. And it had some quite interesting features on it as well. And one highlight for me was Get Twisted, which had a really nice groovy sort of dubstep. And also Sick Chick, which is one of his most popular tunes on the album. Sick Chick, that's for Sick Chick. 3 years later, in 2018, Canna CDK released the other album.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It's a tightly packed 42 minutes with a lot of features on it, including some Friends collaborations from Earworm Entertainment, such as Eyes Forward featuring DMK. And another track that included many features from Rick and Morty for some reason. Oh man, why is there suddenly a Rick and Morty song?
Sorry, Morty, it's a bummer.
And it looked like between 2015 and 2018, Canna CDK was working on getting Earworm Entertainment up and running, because we've got Happy Birthday Earworm and Welcome to Earworm as 2 tracks on the album. King Cuda, good feature. Interesting voice. Dirty distortion. In 2020, Canna CDK did a collaboration album with Grim Singmuff called Back to Basics, which I actually did have a listen to when I did Grim Singmuff's Discog dive as well. But I'm going to tell you some of my favourites right now. One is Blast Off. And Find Yourself featuring J Prophet. We've got like 3 artists on this track. Also in 2020, Canna CDK released an album called Sinister Intent, which was a much more darker and evil kind of vibe to it, as you can see from the album cover itself, Sinister Intent. This had to be one of my highlights in his discography, as I really do like albums that have a concept and theme and stick with them throughout, and this had a really interesting theme. So some of my favourite tracks on this was Digging Deeper. Love the album art. Feels a bit more like emo trap. We also had Whispers, which had some sort of eerie, whistly kind of thing going on. Got the creepy vibes throughout in this. And Suspect Zero featuring J Prophet, which had some great anthemic sort of trumpet sounds going on throughout. This is a walk through the door kind of song. Obviously with the door closed. Then in 2021, Canna CDK did another collaboration album with DMK this time. And DMK, I found, is always a great feature on Canna's stuff. It really seems to work well when the two of them are together. So a whole album of this I was looking forward to. And out of that collaboration, we ended up with 26 minutes of quite a short 9-song album with some great hits on it, such as Rise and Grind. Really nice hook. And Scary Move voices. This song sounds like it could have been in Sinister Intent as well. And it was at this point in listening through Canna's discography where I found the style that I appreciated most from Canna, and that was when he went for that sort of creepy emo trap kind of vibe. It worked well with his voice, because he seems to have quite a sort of creepy-ish voice, so it played really well with that style. So I think in future that is a style that he could carry on with. And straight after that, in 2021, we had Canna CDK release Self-Sustained, which had a really interesting album art cover, some sort of like mystical ball who's looking through there, almost observing the world. So there were some fantastic songs on this. I really enjoyed What the Problem Is.
Tell me what the problem is. Everybody got something to say. What the problem is?
what the problem is. Tell me what the problem is, everybody.
And Reach for the Stars, which I've reviewed in the past alongside other artists.
Reaching for the stars when you're looking up, it seems so far, but I'm never giving up. Reaching high, grabbing far, reaching for the stars.
And then presently in 2022, Canna CDK has released something called 420, which isn't my ideal kind of album. I feel it's a bit cliche and overused to be talking about those subjects, and I preferred it when CDK would talk about something that was more real and purposeful to him. That doesn't mean that there weren't any bangers in this. I really like Blaze Up.
All day and every day, my clock is stuck at 420. Plant the seed to help it grow. Plus, gotta save that money now.
And Blunted. Got some like proper chill tracks in this one. I think it fits the theme. And overall, throughout the past week and a half that I've been listening to Canna CDK's music, I have to say I preferred the tracks and the albums where he was talking about things that were important to him, like the state of the world, rather than talking about the go-to subjects that you might get in this genre. I really liked it when his albums had a theme and they all connected, all the songs seemed to connect together. So that's why I really liked Sinister Intent. And if I had to choose an album to introduce Canna CDK to someone, I would choose Sinister Intent. Now, that might give the listener the impression that all of his songs are like this, but they're not like Sinister Intent. Maybe that's a direction that he could go in. Maybe a direction that's more focused on personal elements of Canna CDK's life alongside Sinister Intent kind of vibes. I feel that's where we might be pushing towards going, and I hope that's the direction CDK decides to go into, because it's so easy to slip into the easy topics that are easy and cliche to rap about that we've heard hundreds of times, and it's so much harder to rap about something that really hurts and is personal to you. But I tell you what, if you rap about something that's personal to you, you will get a lot more listeners and people that feel you and connect with you more. And it can be quite hard in that industry as well to do that and expose yourself in that way, because it seems like an industry where you have to pretend to be a stereotypical man and nothing hurts and I'm really tough
and don't come near me because I'll mess with you
kind of thing. You don't have to act like that to get listens. If anything, if you stop acting like that, stop acting with the bravado, then you can actually get more listeners from those personal journeys. And that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself and start sounding all wimpy or anything like that. It just means try and get onto something that listeners can relate to. Personal things that have happened are always a good thing to tap into, even if they're positive. It doesn't have to be a negative. So if I had to recommend an album for you to listen to if you want to get into Canna CDK, I would recommend listening to Sinister Intent, because it has such a great theme and a great sound to it, and it really fits his voice. Canna CDK recently found out he has ancestors that come from Norway, and what Canna CDK decided to do was retell Norwegian folk tales, fairy tales, what have you, and put them into a brand new format. So that's Canna CDK, so make sure you check him out below. All links are down below, and make sure to have a good time doing the things you like to do, okay? Goodbye, I guess. I'm going to sort out my hair. I'm having a crazy hair day. Not to be confused with Canna DVDK, his alternate his evil twin. That'll do.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.